If you've ever worked with a styrofoam head that you can get from a craft store, you'll notice that it's quite a bit smaller than an actual head. For me in particular, I have a fairly large head, and once I get all of my hair up into a wig cap, it even adds more circumference. So it's very difficult when I'm trying to get a wig on or maybe some hair accessories to get the correct placement for the look that I'm trying to achieve. So to fix that, I'm going to make a really simple head cast. This process is pretty simple to do. All you need is this giant roll of gummed paper tape. It's also known as watercolor tape at fine art stores, and it's basically just craft paper with a shiny side, which works kind of like the way an envelope does. When you add a little bit of water, this stuff actually turns into sticky glue. What you'll want to do is cut up that giant roll into a bunch of small little pieces that you can use for when you're actually going to be applying it to your head. You want them to be about the size of 1/2 inch, no more, because it gives you a better detail when you're actually sticking them onto your head. To start the head cast process, what we'll do is wrap the subject's head in a plastic wrap. You want the plastic wrap to be snug so that you get the correct contours, but you don't want it to be too tight that it's going to cause discomfort or cut off circulation or anything like that. If you're not comfortable with covering your eyes or your mouth, you can definitely leave those open and fill them in later. You're just going to lose a little bit of that detail. But go with whatever your comfort level you're going to find. If you're claustrophobic, then leave some space for yourself to see what's going on and to get a little bit of extra motion. Always make sure to leave your nose area open. You can put some tape on the top of your bridge, but always leave that area so you can breathe nice and easy. Once you're done with the plastic wrap, you'll want to start applying the pieces of tape. Now, to make this easier, grab a bowl, stick a sponge in it, and then pour lots of water in here so that the sponge is nice and squishy and full of water. So when you dab a little bit of water will come out. This will make it really easy to apply the tape because all you need to do is take a piece of tape, dab it on the sponge, and then stick it on your plastic wrap. As you're working around the head, you want to try and grab as many of the contours as you can. So try and get good definition around your eyebrows, your jawline, your earlobes, and the bridge of your nose. Once you've got one good layer of paper tape around your head, you'll want to let it dry before you try and take it off. The fastest way to do this is to grab a hairdryer and move your way around the head with hot air to help the paper tape dry faster. Now comes the tricky part. We need to get the paper tape off of your head. At this point, it's really important for your helper to have the right tools to make sure you can do this safely and easily. I really recommend getting these surgical bandage scissors. They're designed specifically to remove any kind of casts or bandages. They basically have this little nub at the end so that when you're cutting, it pushes your skin away from whatever it is you're trying to cut off. And they have a nice angled nose bit here, so it's safe, so you're not going to get any kind of pinching of your skin. Before cutting the paper tape off, we used a Sharpie to mark a guideline for where we were planning on cutting, and then put hatch marks along that guideline so I could then use those as registration points when I'm putting the mask back together. Make sure your helper is going really slow and being very careful, and always asking you to make sure that you're comfortable or if they're causing you any kind of pain. To get the mask off of me, we started by cutting along the side of the face. It seemed a little bit easier to access the side there because I could tilt my neck back a little bit to give some space for the scissors, and it was the most flattest part of my head, so it was a lot easier to try and get the cardboard to cut and not really force the scissor anywhere too much. notice because of the bulk of my hair at the back of my head, it added quite a bit of a steep curve there. So we need to cut some more seams at the back in order to allow the form to come off easily. Once the paper tape form was off, then it was a matter of putting all the seams back together. I used the hatch marks as registration marks to match up the seams on the two sides of the seam, and then secured all the seams with more paper tape. I let that dry and then proceeded to add 2 more layers of paper tape on top of the head form to give it extra stability. Once you're done with that, you end up with your paper tape form. Now, on mine, I also added 2 more layers on the inside to give it lots of stability. It's really, really tough, and you can put pins in it, you can sculpt on it. It's not going to give out under whatever it is you plan on using it for. I added 1 layer of packaging tape on top as well. This is just so when I'm working with glues and paints and things like that, if I drip some on this paper tape form, it's much easier to clean and adds a bit of longevity to this form. And that's it. That's all you need for a paper tape head cast. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be using this for your future projects and if you found this helpful. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. I've got more creative adventures coming up.